morning.
Welcome to the farm.
You look like you've been doing exercises.
Yeah. Sick of exercises out here, but it's all worth it.
I hear
Coming
you.
in, I've worked hard since, January on growing these tomatoes from seed. I've kept them alive. Tom's helped, of course. I can't do it on my own. And today I want to tell you about the Purple Cherokee. The Purple Cherokee was the first heirloom tomato that I grew probably 10 years ago that changed the way I felt about eating tomatoes.
Why is that?
The flavor took me back to my childhood and the tomatoes that my grandparents grew. We are very fortunate. We live on the farm that has been in my family for 5 generations, where my grandparents, where we lived until I was 6 years old. We lived here from my birth till 6, and then we moved to town in New Albany. So it's like when I tasted that first Purple Cherokee, it was like coming home. I'm home. I have found home. And couldn't believe the difference in the flavor. It's beautiful flavor. Now, it can have the core that we don't like, but it's worth it to me to grow them. And I don't know, the first thing I learned, the first book I bought about growing tomatoes was by Greg LaHua. And the name of his book is Epic Tomatoes. I was a new farmer, beginning female farmer is what they call me. And I didn't have any money to spend on books. I mean, this farming stuff can get expensive. And I was with my friend Beth Saul. We were at the TSC, and I saw the book Epic Tomatoes. I said, "God, I should buy that." She was like, "Buy it." I said, "It's $25." She said, "Buy the book." And I did, and I felt so guilty about it. That book is my tomato Bible. So if you're into tomatoes, you want to learn all you can about growing, saving seeds, recipes, they're in Greg LaHua's book. You can listen to him. He has a podcast. He has a Facebook page. He is fabulous. Yes. He grows all his tomatoes in grow bags or hay bales on his driveway. He doesn't have any soil, good soil. This year he did. He moved, so now he's starting over. But anyway, he named the Purple Cherokee. There is a organization called Seed Savers, and someone in the Seed Savers got this seed from someone in Tennessee, and they sent it to Craig and said, "Grow this out and see what you think." So he did, and it's a dark tomato, full of flavor, and he named it Purple Cherokee because the story goes the person in Tennessee got the seed from someone who got the seed from someone who was a Cherokee.
Wow.
Oh yeah, all of these tomatoes are living history. They all have a story. So the Purple Cherokee goes back to the Cherokees, and Craig named it. But you see, they're coming on.
They're big.
Yeah, I got some inside. They're beautiful. These have been the prettiest tomatoes. Okay, now, Evelyn and I have been talking about saving seeds. These are heirlooms, so that means they're open pollinated and you can save the seed. You need to save the seed from the first fruits because you don't want them to get mixed up with another, just in case a bee just come along and goes to that Italian, then he sits on this one. You could get them mixed up, which would be a perfectly fine tomato. But if you want a pure Purple Cherokee, you need to pick the first tomatoes, hoping that a bee didn't cross-pollinate them. So these are all from seeds that I saved.
Wow.
I'm not sure how true they are to Purple Cherokees, but there is a college who is studying the DNA of seeds to just see how far off the strains have gotten. Anyway, they look pretty good so far. Some of them look like Purple Cherokees, some of them don't.
When you were talking about the flavor, what kind of flavor?
Okay, it's a dark tomato. The balance is there. You know, when you talk about a tomato flavor, I mean, you can get into like you're drinking a fine wine.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor is there. It's a balance of acid, sweet. It's just balanced.
I have ate some tomatoes that were so sweet. It was unbelievable.
They were probably too ripe. Were they ripe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they get sweeter the longer they sit.
It was good.
Well, I like mine more on the acid side, but they're all. Some people think some tomatoes are more acid than others. They're not. They all have the same amount of acid. It's just some have more sweet that covers up the acid. It just depends when you pick them too. Fascinating.
And so, are these just an eating tomato for you, or do you
Yeah,
cook
I
with
eat them.
them,
I
or?
slice them and eat them. They're great. And or you can make beautiful caprese salads with them because you can change. You know, you can have a red tomato, yellow tomato, purple tomato, or dark.
Right.
It's dark. It makes such a pretty salad with your basil and your mozzarella.
How many people are so surprised about the taste of them the first time?
Oh, it was like, yep, this takes me back. This is what a tomato's supposed to taste like. You know, they all the people who grew up eating tomatoes with their grandparents, they're like, yep, this is it. So I always grow purple Cherokee. It's one of my favorites.
I had never seen one before
Yeah.
until I had one of yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're not suffering as much as those we looked at last week.
Yeah.
So is it just the hardiness of them?
I guess so. Which ones did we look at last week?
The Italians.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it could be. Or it could be I sprayed these better. These may have gotten better spraying than the others. You know, you have to try to be consistent. But I could have missed a few leaves over there. Yeah, I highly recommend you try purple Cherokee. Also, you know, if you go to a grocery store or a restaurant or somewhere that has a tomato you really like, I guess a grocery store or a market would be better. You can save the seeds. Like, you know, somebody's got an unusual tomato in their market, save the seeds and see what happens.
And tell us again how to do that.
Cut it in half when it's fully ripe and squeeze out the seeds into a cup. If it's thick, add a little water, swish it around, put the name on it. That's what I'm bad about. Put the name on there, cover it with a paper towel and let it sit. Let it ferment. And then it stinks horribly. Don't let the flies will get in it if you don't cover it. And then about a week it's ready. And you pour off the fermentation, put them on a paper towel, dry them out. Ready to go.
Okay, so we've learned about Cherokees this week, purple Cherokees.
All right, the other one I have in here that's a goodie is the Brandywine.
We'll get it next week.
Okay.
Yay. All right, thank you, Kelly.
You are so welcome. Happy matering!